My name is Daisy Aguirre, a realtor with ERA Sellers and Buyers Real Estate, also known as your homegirl. Today, I'm at my listing 6312 Franklin Vista Drive in West El Paso, and I brought Hector Bernal with me, owner of Kayton Lee Homes. This property, I want to kind of walk you through it and also our viewers to show you what a resale property looks like. And I just love your input because you also do full remodels with that Kayton Lee touch.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
We can do just as little or just as much as our customers want. So,
great, let's take a look. So this is the exterior of the property here. It was originally built by Winton Flair,
right.
Very popular floor plan. And I just want to, show it to you and kind of hear your thoughts on.
So phenomenally built home. As we know, Winton's one of the best builders in El Paso, long time coming. So this is a Mediterranean style home. Nowadays, you probably want to go with the modern farmhouse, modern transitional style. So what I would do out here is probably start with the roof. And getting rid of some of the curved lines, give it more straight lines, and that'll modernize it.
Okay.
You'll be surprised what just a new roof can do. If we leave and look down the road, you can see some similar floor plans with different style roofs,
right.
And different window types, and they're real subtle changes, but it adds a real big touch.
Yeah, for sure. Like this house right here, it has like a straighter edge all
yeah,
across.
and even just the color, it lightens it up. We're driven by fads and fashions, and we see the pretty homes and everything's white and bright. So,
right.
We see the darker colors and we automatically think it's outdated. So we start to bring lighter colors and it freshens everything up. So,
not to mention, this property is 3,600 square feet. So it's a big house.
Huge house, yeah.
Really big house.
So yeah, as we come inside, you're gonna notice again that Mediterranean feel, beautiful designs, but a lot of people want that open concept, and when we're talking about 3,600 square feet, that's a very large home, so you
right.
can fit large furniture. But when you walk in and we run into these columns, it obstructs some of the view. That wall there can also be modified to open up a little bit of the kitchen.
Okay.
And then over this way, you have your living area. But if you notice, you'll have a lot of curvatures, columns, bulkheads, and things that they add a lot of design factor, but they shrink the space a little bit.
Okay.
So, getting rid of a lot of that cosmetic stuff adds a lot of design, but it's not so expensive.
Okay. Yeah, and I think the main thing that a buyer in this neighborhood, for example, you see properties anywhere between $6 to $1.5 million.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So this property, it just falls in line with the way that I usually price my properties,
sure.
my listings rather. And I think that we're listing it at such a discount that it really opens up that possibility to do whatever you want remodel wise. Absolutely. So I think that this property is the perfect fit, for maybe someone who needs the space, right?
Sure.
Like, so maybe a family, someone who needs the bedroom space, the square footage, a smarter buyer that knows how to, that has a good eye for design, that wants a really nice house, but at the same time knows better almost than to want to pay top dollar and just to kind of have the best of both worlds. Sure. You have the lot, you have that established neighborhood here, you have, a pool already, you have a view lot. So there's so many things that are already here. So I just think that it's a perfect palette for someone to come in, remodel, and then actually move in and not spend or not pay interest, especially today's interest, on something that's ready to go. So maybe somebody a little bit more of a creative.
Yeah, absolutely. And remodeling is not always fun. So yeah, somebody who understands what they're getting themselves into. In a good way, again, because you're gonna gain a ton of equity in a subdivision like this. Especially like you said, you're pricing the homes right. That person's gonna come in and add their own touch. They already have mature trees.
Right.
They have landscape. I mean, the land today is astronomical in terms of price.
Yeah.
So no, you're absolutely right. And I think what's important too is just talking through the project on what things can cost.
Right.
And because nobody wants to tear things out and then run into surprises and they have expenses that aren't considered upfront, right?
So what's happening here?
Here, this is the living area again, or it can be used as a den. Same thing, we look at the windows up top, we have shutters, again, high quality materials, but just a little outdated. So we can either straighten these windows out, or even just removing the shutters themselves will add a lot of light coming in. You can change to electronic drapes. And I personally would like to straighten those windows out, but then of course, something as simple as straightening the top of those windows out means we have to change the windows out themselves.
Right.
And then where does it end? Where does it stop?
Right.
And that's where remodels get interesting.
Right.
And again, that educated buyer can sit down with us and we can talk about exactly what's important. We always want to start with the infrastructure first, make sure that everything is working the way it should, and then work back into a budget from there.
Okay, so I see curvatures, right? And I think that one trend, and it's almost kind of like a timeless trend that's really popular right now, is that Spanish, like a modern Spanish feel.
Yeah.
So you might be able to still conserve some of the original things, right? But still kind of modernize
You're absolutely
in other
right.
areas, just to kind of be budget conscious, I think.
Yeah.
So.
No, you're absolutely right. And Mediterranean style is very similar, right? To that Spanish, you can get that modern Spanish feel just with colors and certain materials.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. And it saves a ton of money.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Me personally, I like light and I
me
like
too.
white walls. So I would just, put a crazy light fixture here and I would just lighten up the walls if it was me. But yeah, all right. So here's what they were using as an office space, and then it'll lead us into the kitchen right over here.
Correct. And great if you're going to utilize it. It's private and it's off to itself. A lot of people with this floor plan, I've noticed, when we've remodeled, they don't necessarily use that space, or it's an awkward space because of where it's located.
Right.
So we can modify the kitchen in a way where that becomes somewhat of a breakfast nook.
Oh yeah.
You can open that up and that becomes another little section for coffee, or even make it into a butler's pantry from here.
I like the butler's pantry.
I do too, yeah.
The Costco.
Yes,
the Costco room.
And your kitchen stays clean with the butler's pantry. You're able to leave all your appliances out, so it's convenient.
Yeah.
As we know, putting a blender out and then coffee and then having to put it all away again before you go to work isn't fun. So
yeah, I
butler's
love that
pantry
idea.
is super convenient.
Yeah.
Same thing here. The other side of this wall is that staircase area. So we can't modify a whole lot, but we can open up somewhat of it so that that light shines through, and then you get a little glimpse of the kitchen as you walk into the entry.
Got it.
But yeah, this floor plan is great as it flows into another living space over here. Okay. So again, just opening up the doorways or the archways, I think some of these bulkheads, you can definitely move some of these ducts into the ceiling so that they're going straight down.
And then the space feels even higher.
I think that's correct. And as you know, colors, right? Again, going into the lighter colors will always open up the rooms.
So this was technically their breakfast nook. So could you expand the kitchen, make it even bigger this way, or what would you do here?
Certainly. I mean, you could make the kitchen all this area and then utilize that front living space that we were talking about or formal as your dining.
Yeah.
And it just depends, mostly how much you entertain and what your lifestyle is like, right?
Right.
I have younger kids, so the mornings are a little more hectic.
Yeah.
In other cases, it's just maybe 2 adults or just 1 adult who wakes up and, they don't need much. Right. So you'll use the smaller areas when it's faster moving. Okay. And then dining when you have company. So, a lot of options.
And you've already got a good bone right here for a good bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think this is a thing that's lost in a lot of floor plans. Back in the day, you had the wet bars, and then they went away. And
we need that again.
Back again.
I don't know why they ever went away.
Yeah, the other thing that's real nice now are wine cellars, right? Or wine fridges. So this would be a nice area to put that as well. You can display a nice wine fridge, and that angle will look really neat with a glass wall.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that would look really good.
Yeah.
So we have a guest bathroom here that's an actual full bath, an actual bedroom here for maybe like, a mother-in-law or a guest, they have their own space down here. What does a bathroom typically cost to renovate?
So a bathroom like this is a pretty standard size, anywhere from 5 by 8 to maybe a 6 by 9, 6 by 10. Those is what we consider a standard bathroom.
Okay.
These are gonna run you about $10,000.
Okay.
Right, and that'll give you new cabinetry, new countertops, fixtures and such. Now, just like anything else, that same bathroom can cost 20, 30,000 if we start, you know, gold fixtures and such, real gold, right? And we tend to think that, oh, things can't get that expensive.
I know they can.
You'll be surprised.
I know they can get
So yeah, but I think each hall bathroom of this size, around $10,000 to $12,000 budget is great. Okay. Your half bathrooms are going to be in the 5 to 8 range.
Okay.
And then your masters, you know, they can go 12 to 15 in standard. And then of course, again, that's where probably you may go over a little bit.
Got it. Okay. You want to head upstairs?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
So again, here we have the staircase. We can do a little straight line staircase with a lot of design elements still, but just get rid of this curvature just to modernize it a little bit.
Okay.
Same thing with these lights. You can change them into some more sleek LEDs. You know, niches like this can be very well squared off, and then you can do a nice art piece.
Okay.
So simple elements, not so costly, but they add a real big pop to the house.
Yeah, difference in that aesthetic. Okay.
So, you know, same thing up here. We get to this little loft area, a lot of storage space. These are things that you're probably not going to see in your more sleek open floor plans, but you know, do you want to get rid of the storage? So these are things that not just aesthetically do we want to talk about it, we want to talk about it in terms of functionality.
Okay.
Because if you have a 3,600 square foot home, you also have more people coming over to the house, or just more children, or just more items in general.
Yeah.
So you need that additional storage space.
So what do you think? You like just make it like
a
closet, or?
This can very well be a little desk area.
Okay.
You know, an office space. We can put cabinetry here.
Yeah.
And the cabinetry can be built and designed at whatever depth that we'd like. So even shortening it up to like a 12 inch, 15 inch, you can still fit paper and binders and things like that in. It'll lessen this closed off space. And it'll look, again, more modern.
You know, and there's some things that are really retro, obviously before the time that this house was built, but like laundry chutes, I don't see them anymore. So
I think they're the coolest thing.
There's some like retro things that I wish came back, like Roman tubs.
Yep.
I love Roman tubs.
Yes.
And like you never see them. So like I see them in like the older houses. So I just, for remodels, you can do things like that. I don't know. I mean,
I'm an old soul, so
me too. Yeah.
I can go back that way. That way scares me, but that way I'm good.
Yeah. So I would kind of, because underneath where we are is the laundry room. So I would totally do a laundry chute here.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's actually perfect.
That's what I would do.
You're right.
Here.
It's right beneath us, and it's right centralized where all the bedrooms are. So I think that's a sweet idea.
Yeah. That's what, as a mom.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Like instead of going up and down the stairs with the hamper, I would do that here.
Yeah, see, we're thinking right away, surround sound, desk area, you know, work, and you guys functionality. So it's good.
Well, and I mean, maybe it's more of a question than a statement. Like if I wanted to do my laundry room upstairs, because with bigger square footage, I have seen 2 laundry rooms, which I love, right? I love that idea. So could you do a laundry space?
My parents, their home where we grew up was, it was very convenient because there was a washroom right in the center of all the bedrooms.
Okay.
But as we know, I'm not a young spring chicken anymore, so my parents are getting, that's you, yeah. I'm
Thanks to Botox.
Well, this isn't showing too well here on the camera, right? But they have that washroom up on the second floor, and I was watching my mom climb up and down the stairs. And even growing up, I remember forgetting things up there, and I was like, I'm not running up there, I just forget it. Because you get tired of running up and down the stairs. At some point, you know, my mom's gonna need a better accommodation to do the things that she does around the house. And so you can very easily remodel by adding a little bit of square footage just out to the back to get a little laundry room, or master downstairs, and make sure that the owner's suite is very accommodating first.
Right.
And then these become secondary bedrooms or what have you. But there's several ways to move around when you already have the property, and so there's a lot of benefits to that.
Okay.
So coming through here, we have the bedrooms, right? What we would do in these cases is typically just keep them freshen them up, obviously. If we're doing windows throughout the house, we do the windows, shutters, and things like that, but nice and, check out the paint, make sure the paint's good, make sure that everything's nice and tidy, but there's not a whole lot of cost in the bedrooms.
Yeah.
I want to leave that over there.
I do want to point out that you have a mini master here.
It's a small, there you go.
Yeah, so that's good too.
You got the hall bath. Okay, yeah. So this is another 5 by 8-ish size bathroom. Again, another 10,000.
Right.
So even on a house like this, the square footage, yes, goes up, and maybe your drywall cost, your painting cost, flooring will go up.
Yeah.
But in terms of bathrooms, you're still relative to a 3,000 square foot house.
Okay.
You know, we've always said you're accommodating the family size,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, the hallways are bigger, or there's an extra space for an office or little nooks.
Okay.
But the bathrooms and bedrooms tend to stay relative.
Okay. Yeah, so this was a junior master, and then those other 2 bedrooms there, they'll have a Jack and Jill to share. So
Awesome,
so,
yeah. This is a great floor plan.
Okay, so this is our master right now with a beautiful view to the backyard, and then
Largest master in the game, right?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. This is awesome. Yeah, I mean, the retreat that you can design and build here, I mean, I bet your mind is going crazy.
I mean,
the
yeah.
options are endless here.
Again, I'm thinking Roman tub right here.
Roman
That's
tub.
what I would do, yeah.
Situation with a Roman tub is you need a little bit of space underneath, right? But we can definitely do some really unique designs because you have windows that they're still private. You know, we can add tint or frost and such. Add lighting up at the top or windows up at the top where people can't see in, but it gives it
You
that
can't. I mean,
fresh
and you're
element.
pretty far away.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
higher than everybody else. So.
Right. And people can see other things that,
Yeah.
you know, through technology nowadays. It's
Well,
just
that's true.
crazy.
That
So-
is, yeah, I guess maybe frost is
Yeah.
important, yeah. Okay, yeah, but I mean, so much space, right? I mean, you have so much walking space, so
It's huge.
yeah, there's so much you can do.
Accommodation, I mean, the closets are huge. Everything is very big. And it's easy to design when you have the space.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, we can design all kinds of different options.
I'm remodeling it like myself, right? Like everything
Yeah.
that I would do.
Yeah,
to it.
exactly.
But I just think it's such a good palette. So here, where you have a perfect view of the whole backyard,
Yep.
nice mature landscape. The pool is, you know, relatively in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
The decking is something that I think, you know, maybe needs.
See, back in the day, they used to use cool deck, and if the cool deck wasn't applied when the concrete was still a little bit fresh so that it adhered properly, you would tend to have these issues.
Okay.
So the cool decking like this over the time, this is a pretty typical situation. So that gets chipped off. We
Okay.
apply a new acrylic material with polymer finishes in it, and it binds better, and it looks very similar, and it has the same effect as the cool decking.
Okay.
That'll run you anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000. So that's something, again, it's not cheap, but on the grand scheme of things, you have the pool, you have the mature landscaping like you're talking about. And if you give it a facelift, even with the tile, you add another little touch.
Okay, so share some ideas for the backyard. What do you think?
So again, phenomenal property. We're on the first floor again. And if you look out, you can still look at the view we have from the first floor. I mean, you got the mountains here, some of the nicest houses in El Paso down there. What I would do personally, I mean, we can get into a pool remodel with as little as like 10,000 and give it a real nice facelift,
Okay.
depending on the extent, right?
Yeah.
Over here, you can definitely level this out to open up the kitchen and this breakfast nook that was here. Maybe even add some panoramic doors, and just think about having some coffee, looking at the mountains or some of these real pretty houses. So again, possibilities are endless, but you get the nice landscape that's already mature, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And it just gives it's a way different feel than buying a new property. So
I would have
it's
never even
completely
thought of
different
that.
buyers.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah, you got plenty of space. The lots are a lot smaller, as you know, in new construction.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of value. You even have space here for an outdoor kitchen. It looks like, you know, they've kind of set it up. You have a little separation with the pergola.
Yeah.
So this can be spruced up really easily. So the bones and all the infrastructure is here. It's just a function of putting a little bit of money to tidy it up, and you have a phenomenal property here.
So that's my question. So something of, you know, talking about everything that we would do, more or less, what's the ballpark cost on something like that?
I think you can move into it as is and, you know, change out the flooring, or again, we want to check the infrastructure first. So
Right.
what we would typically do is come in with a third-party inspector, maybe even 2 for them to assess everything, make sure that all the infrastructure is running good.
Okay.
After that's assessed, then we go into paint all your bathrooms, flooring, and then after that, it goes into windows and things like that.
Okay.
But I would say anywhere from 100 to 150,000 will give you pretty much a full design interior It'll straighten everything out and it'll look like a completely different house.
I love that because based on my pricing, to be able to do that, you have almost a brand new house
You do.
for still such, and I don't like to use the word discount, but it's just such a savvy way to purchase a home.
It is.
So I love that. I do,
absolutely.
I really do.
Well, and then I think the demographic has a lot to do with it. You know, your neighbors, it's already an established neighborhood. The schools around here are already, you know, they're good. And so there's a lot to be said about a property like this.
I love it. I'm so glad you came out.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.